Welcome back to my channel, Custom Scrapbook Design by Christy Stubbs. And welcome back to another installment of my Scrappin Saturday Series. And I am also partaking in Saturday Morning Makes, hosted by the wonderful Jillian Norwood. So be sure to check out all of the other creators and designers and see what they are up to on this beautiful Saturday morning. And just search the hashtag #mornmakes, and all of those creators will pop up in their videos or their shares. So let's get started. Today I believe I am going to just do a single 12 by 12 layout, and I'm going to be using the Simple Stories Simple Vintage Life in Bloom still. This collection, you guys, is absolutely stunning. If you have not gotten your hands on it yet, you want to get some. It is beautiful. And I will have links below of all my products that are used. I do carry them on my website, so be sure to check those out. So I have a very, very loose plan of what I want to do today. And I'm going to start with a 4x6 photo and two 3x5 photos. So we're going to set those aside because that's what I'm going to put on the page, I believe. And then I'm also going to have just a black piece of paper for the base, because I'm just going to cut some pieces from these three. And then this is a cutoff that's been left over from one of the previous Saturdays. If you haven't had a chance already or are new to my channel, be sure to go back and check out some of the other layouts using this collection. It's just beautiful. This paper is stunning. It absolutely just speaks to me. I love it. So I do have this cut apart that I believe I'm going to use. I'm going to set that aside, and we're going to get started cutting a strip of this beautiful floral paper. This one is the Beautiful Things. And first I'm going to start by cutting that banding strip off. I have been known to forget to do that until the end, and that's never a good thing. And then I want to make sure my paper is positioned right side up because there is some writing on there. So I definitely want to make sure I have that right. And I really just want to utilize a portion of this paper, and then we're going to use the rest of it as well. So I love this butterfly, and I really don't want to cut it off. So I think I'm going to go at about 4.5. And then I can still catch that butterfly on that flower there. And I'm going to line that one up on the outer edge. And then my thought was to maybe take this pink and white polka dot, and that's the B side of that floral print, and then maybe have a purple stripe here, and then I want to line the photos up on this purple stripe. But I want the purple piece to actually be wide enough to hold these 3x5s. So it definitely needs to be wider than this scrap piece I have. Okay, wasn't sure if that was going to work or not. I didn't double check that before getting on. So my mat for my 3x5 photo actually measures 3¼ by 5¼ So I'm going to cut the branding strip off of this to start, and then I'm going to cut this for width, and I'm going to want to turn it and cut it this direction because there is some writing on here. So it is directional. And I am going to just go approximately 6.5. I'm not really sure. What that ended up at because my cutter only goes out, yep, 6.5. So that's about where I wanted that to end up. So let's see. Set this one aside. Let's see where that ends up. I think we'll go over top with the purple. I may change my mind, but for now, we're just going to kind of temporarily place that. And then we'll temporarily place the pink and white. And I'll just turn, oh, that's quite a bit wider than I had envisioned. So we're going to go closer to the middle, I think we're going to end up going. So I could have actually cut that floral piece a little bit smaller. I didn't realize I was going to end up going that small. Let's double check. So I kind of want to be able to pull that one off the edge. And that one. And that one. So I actually think the purple one's a little too wide. I'm going to trim that off. I'm going to trim that down to 6 and see if I like the looks of that a little bit better. Once again, I didn't have a real grand plan in place. And this is what happens. We're just going to kind of create together and get this layout. And that leaves, you know, roughly the 3 inches on each side once it's all on there straight. Now let's check out the mats on there. And honestly, I think we could cut just a little bit more off of there. I think we're going to cut another 1/2 inch off. So we really wanted that to be about 5.5. Who knew? We'll save these. You never know when. Oh, we might actually use these. Yeah, I think that worked out in our favor. I think we're going to end up using these little strips as well. So they're not even, but that's okay because we'll put them underneath and get them even. We're just going to use a little sliver of them underneath that purple to just kind of border that. So we don't necessarily need that full width and them to measure the same exact amount. Heck yeah, that's gonna work good. Okay, so we're gonna add those underneath. And I just want to set these on the purple again. All right, yeah, I like the looks of that. Okay. And then, so what that is going to leave us is just a small piece of the polka dot to go on this side. Now, I have some plans for some fussy cutting. And this will probably take a while, being as we'll fussy cut some of this stuff out. I think that we're going to utilize some of these florals on this page. So with that being said, if I want to cut off a couple, approximately 3 inches, what is that going to do to my fussy cutting? It's going to cut a little of that one, a little of that one. I think we're still gonna go for it that way. And if we have to break into another piece, we certainly can, but we'll try and do this without cutting into another piece just yet. Like I said, we will if we have to. I actually had pulled 2 pieces from my inventory thinking that we would use 2 pieces, but we might be able to get by with 1. If I had to cut that one right to begin with, that would have helped, but that's okay. So if you're following along, you can cut this one at the 3-inch mark or 3 1/4. I'd cut it a little bit long. So with that being said, I actually think I would like to have the whole page have just a sliver of black for a frame, which means we're going to want to cut the height of all of these so that they all match. And let's just measure our black piece just for good. Yeah, we're at the 12. So we're going to cut, let's start by cutting 1/4 of an inch off of that. And for that, I'm going to go to my big cutter so that I don't have any guesswork. Just pull that in here. So what that allows me to do is cut 2 of them at the same time, and we're going to cut those at 11 3/4. You just, if you're cutting them both at the same time, you want to be sure they are lined up. And then we're going to want to cut these 2 little strips as well. And I think I'll cut them individually at the 11 3/4. And again at 11 3/4. Okay, and then we'll cut the purple. Oh, I think I cut my piece I'm going to fussy cut. That's all right. It's only 1/4 of an inch. 11 3/4. I got a little carried away. Here's the little piece I should have cut. 11 3/4. All right. I think I'm safe to set that aside. Get rid of these little scraps. I don't think we'll need those. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and ink all of this. So I'm going to ink the 3 edges on this one, the 3 edges on this one, 1 edge on each one of these, and then all 4 edges of that one. So I'll go ahead and get those inked. Okay, got that all inked. So we're going to bring back our pieces and we're going to go ahead and hook down our floral piece on this outer edge here first. and try and get our border to match all the way around. And it looks like I need to move that up just a tad. About right there. And I'm not going to press really hard. If you follow me, you know I move things quite regularly, so I'm not going to give that a real good press just yet till I am sure I can get all of these lined up. And now we're going to line up this other outside edge. Try and get it as straight as possible. Again, I'm not going to press that down. And then I'm going to set this aside and we're going to try and line up this colored piece. So to get that little border, I think I'm going to try and line this up in my grid on my mat down here and see. And then I think I will use see if I can find a line to line that up on. Okay, so I lined up one of my lines on my Tim Holtz ruler with this grid here. So we'll see if this works. Keep this straight, lined up. And you know, I am gonna grab some tape. We're gonna hold this ruler in place with some tape so that I can't bump it and move it. We'll see if that helps. Okay. Now we can try it. And I want to make sure I've got my inked edge on the outside. And I want to make sure that's all lined up. And then I can line up the top edge and lay that against the ruler. Uh-oh. Cut my purple piece too short? Really? Sure did. I must have cut those at 11.5 instead of 11 3/4. And you know what? That's okay. Because what I'm going to do now is bring that in an 1/8 of an inch on both sides. Whoops. Is that going to end up being one of those little happy accidents, I think? Okay, I'm not going to press that down because I want to see how that looks. Okay, and we're going to flip that over. I'm not really sure how I messed that up, but I did. But I think I'm going to like the look even better to have that just offset just a little bit. So we'll get this lined up on the grid. We'll go in 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch. Line that up against the ruler. I'm not going to press that down tight. I want to check that out. Okay, so I like the way that that looks. It's got that little, you know, offset, which, like I said, little happy accident. That's okay. That works. And then we're going to set this on top of the floral. And I don't want to set that in place just yet either, because I want to check out. So I had this cut apart, and I was kind of wanting to use that on this layout, but I might not be able to. It might end up being just a little bit too big unless I would have, you know, offset this just a little bit more. And I don't know that I want it to be able, I don't know that I want to offset that any more than it already is. So that's okay. We're going to go ahead and line this up. We better put some more tape on there. We only have that little bit holding those little strips on, and we're going to need more tape than that to hold that down. All right, so I've got a fair amount of tape on there. And we're going to line the bottom up, and I am going to go over as far as I can in on this pink polka dot page. And let's see, pull that ruler back in and just measure the distance, because I'm not positive I've got these perfectly lined up here. And so if I line this up with those, it could be a little crooked, and I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to check my measurements and see if we are equal. It does need to go over just a little bit, not that much. Let's hook the bottom down. Okay. All right. Okay, there we've got the basic layout done. And then we've got our photo mats are already done as well. And they are just going to line up just like that. So I haven't decided on this 4x6 if I really want to have it, you know, kind of overhang the one direction, which if I did that, we might actually be able to pull this back in here and tuck it in here. Not sure if I'm, you know, dead set on having that in here, but this would make a really nice journal spot. And then my original intention was to fussy cut some flowers for here, but I'm not sure we're gonna need to. Let's take a peek at what I have left in the sticker book and on the sticker sheet. Once again, my area became a real disaster real fast, so let's see if I can find that. Here we go. So I do have just this little one bundle of floral left on the sticker sheet. But let's take a look at what is left in the sticker book. And there is quite a bit of floral left in there. So we could just use some of these on this layout. And I'm kind of wanting to leave this side a little bit plainer as far as adding a bunch of embellishments, because I really, really love the look of the flowers and the bees, and just the paper itself really just kind of doesn't need a whole lot. So I do believe this is how we're going to set this page up. But I also am contemplating maybe backing that 4x6 photo on another color, and maybe kind of looking at my scraps, y'all, to see if I can find maybe something left from the last couple weeks, if I have a piece big enough that we can use. And I do have a piece of this. It's a little bit brighter pink. Maybe I don't want to go, I'm not sure I want to go that green. But who's to say I couldn't just back it in that? Let's take a look. I know I had that extra piece from earlier. Let's take a look at that and see. You know, I think we might just back that again on this green, just because I think the contrast out here, I think the white's a little stark, but I think by backing it on that green, it softens it. And I don't mind it going across that other little bit of green. Now, this paper is directional, and I do have 2 scraps, and I do have one that is going the right direction. So let's place that and see where my stamp didn't work out the first time. That's why you've got 2 sides. So I stamped it on the other side. We're going to go ahead and just mat that. Have that straight. I think so. And we'll just trim that. Okay, and then let's pull our ink in and ink that little bit too. Get rid of these extra pieces. Hope you guys are enjoying this series. My intention with this Scrappin Saturday series is to pick a collection and start doing some layouts with it and try and utilize as much as possible. However, when I ordered this Life in Bloom in, I didn't get the collection kit necessarily, but I got all the parts and pieces individually. So I've been kind of just randomly pulling pieces from my inventory to use. So I haven't kept track of whether or not I would be using a collection kit or not, but I love this collection so much. I'll probably be doing a couple more layouts with it. And then I did get a few other new collections in as well that I'm excited to use too. So we'll be moving on from this here shortly, but a few more layouts. All right, now to decide if I need to do anything special with this, like trim it down. I actually think I'm going to fussy cut around these tickets here. I think that will add a little layer of dimension that we're missing. Oh goodness, now if I can find a pair of scissors on my desk. Oh my goodness. I don't know, do you guys have as much issue losing things on your desk as I do? I really struggle with that. Okay, so this looks like a couple layers, or at least 2 layers of the paper there. So I'm going to try and follow this top one. And then go around these tickets. And I don't know, I don't love fussy cutting, but if you are new to it or need some hints, turning your paper instead of your scissors really does work really well. And I do not remember where I got that hint, but somebody in another group had mentioned that years ago. I learned that. It may have even been at an in-person retreat somewhere, but it does really work, and it does make it a little bit easier to fussy cut around your stuff. These tickets aren't too bad to have to go around. All right, so we're gonna just get around that. And if you've stuck with me this far and haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you did. And if you follow along with my layouts or you scrap lift them, even with a different collection, I certainly would love to see what you do with it. Okay, let's see. I'm going to just fussy cut that little bit of flower out of there and stick with the paper below it. However, I am going to leave that leaf in there. I'll leave that leaf on the bottom. Kind of cut the tip of that flower off. That's okay. All right, we're getting to the end here. That wasn't so bad. I think that just gives it a little bit better dimension. We are going to go ahead and ink this now as well. And we'll see how this looks, if this fits in a little better. We could always trim just a little smidgen off of that edge if we wanted to. Let's see. Oh yeah, I think that's going to work out okay. Yeah, we'll just push that photo over a little bit further. This one will be fine right here. Let's go ahead and stick these top and bottom photos down. So I'm gonna just center those in that purple, and I am going to try and do the same distance from the bottom as I've got on the sides. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the top one. Try and just get that centered side to side and same distance from the top. That looks pretty good. And then let's kind of set this. I'm just trying to tuck that corner. Yeah, I think we're gonna, do we want it straight? You know, I think I do want it straight. So I think this is ready to put in place as well. And I'm going to pull that one all the way to the outer edge. Oh, and probably down just a touch. Maybe even a touch more. I think that looks good there, and then we can go ahead and put this one in place. And then I'm just trying to center it top to bottom so I've got the same distance in between both of those. And we're ready to hook that one down. Oh, I'm really liking the simplicity of this layout actually. I wasn't really sure when we got started, but I am really liking it. Now, do we want to add the flowers? And I'm not sure, they seem a little bit big, like they might be a little too big there. And as far as if we were to fussy cut, let's see if I can find that scrap now. I buried it in my search for other stuff. Let's just take a quick peek at like some of the floral left on here. You know, I think that would be really pretty. Maybe cut there, and maybe we could cut a portion of that one. Let's, boy, that's not too bad. Let's give it a whirl. Let's give this little section a shot and see. Now, to make this a little bit easier, I am going to cut around this. I'm gonna cut that little bit of leaf out. Okay, that actually gives us an idea of how much floral that is. Okay, let's go ahead and cut some of this top part out. Get that fussy cut and see if we like it. I'm probably not going to fussy cut the whole thing just yet. I'll do a little bit of it and kind of preview it and see if we want to keep moving forward with it or not. Now, with as much detail as there is in this paper, I am cutting out some of the little background pieces because I don't think they're necessary, and they'd be pretty dainty to have to try and cut around and cut out as well. So we'll get down around this leaf and take a quick peek at it. All right, let's check that out. Oh, actually, I think I like it. Tucked that direction even more so than that direction. So that'll save us. We don't need to fussy cut all of that. We can actually just cut that straight off, and we're going to tuck that right under there. So let's actually, before we ink that, let's set that in place and then take a quick peek. I don't think we're going to fussy cut anything for up there. I think we're just going to do this little section here, and then we're going to add some butterflies to this layout, of course, because I love the butterflies in this collection as well. So we've got the blue one here we could use, but let's see what else we have in the sticker book. Got lots of butterflies there. Let's also look at these little sayings and see what we've got. Well, we do have the life in bloom here. And I think that might be all right. We might add the best day ever right here. Going across the top. I love these words too. I've said that before. If you've been watching, you'll hear me say it over and over again. I really like them. Best day ever. And I know we're pink on pink, but we're a little bit of the hot pink on that lighter pink. So we're going to add the, and I can't tell if I've got them straight. Looks like it might be just a tiny bit. Might have started just a tiny bit crooked on the top one. So we'll straighten that out. That looks all right. Okay, and then let's keep looking. Let's see what else we can add. So we've got the tickets, we've got the stuff there. We could add some butterflies. I don't think we want any more words. We do have some leaves in these stickers. I don't think we're going to use any of those either. We do have a few more words. These are a little bit different. Then we've got the butterflies with the words. Let's take a look at this one and preview this little beautiful with the butterfly. I think we're going to put that right there. Yep. All right, get back to that page and see what else we've got. Looks like then we're on our last page. So what else do we want to add? I think we're going to go back to butterflies. Might actually even this little floral here. Let's see what that looks like. Add a bee here. Let's go ahead and ink this. Just ink it real quick. And I inked that really lightly. I'm going to tuck that under there. We're going to have to stay within the black so that we don't ruin that piece, and we're going to stay tucked up underneath that as well. Bring that leaf out, and then I'm also going to just add a touch of the wet adhesive right here to hold all that down so that doesn't lift up. And I'm just using some art glitter glue there. Okay, and let's go back to those butterflies. And let's add, I think this big purple one might actually work really well. Might be too tall, actually. Let's see if we can tuck it. Gently pull it back up. Okay, that one's a little too big with the letters or the words that I put up on the top. I think it's just slightly too big, so we won't use that one. How about this green one? I think it's a little smaller. We'll try it. Oh, goodness. I'm just wanting to preview it and not stick them down just yet. Okay, I think that one is going to work just perfect right there. Okay. I think we're going to quit right there. We're going to leave this be. Well, I take that back. Only because I added that one little leaf there, and I think it's going to look funny if I don't add another little sprig up on the top one. So let's go back and grab one more leaf, and we went underneath the white, and let's just add that one right there. There we go. Now we're done. So thank you so much for sticking with me again for, I believe it's week, I want to say 11, I might be wrong, week 11 of my Scrappin Saturday series. And again, if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, and then you'll be notified every time I upload new content. Every Saturday I will be putting up a new layout, whether or not it's a 1 or a 2-page spread, utilizing the 12 by 12 format. And then I also do put some content up occasionally in between Saturdays. So again, thanks for sticking with me. Thanks to Jillian Norwood for hosting the Sat Morn Makes. And I hope you all are finding a little time to create today. Thanks so much. Bye for now.